So these are the top 5 Jeep Grand Cherokee models that you need to think about buying right now. Now, if you're in the market for a Jeep Grand Cherokee, whether it's an SRT, a Trackhawk, anything, hopefully this video is going to give you some good insight on at least 5 different models, and I'll go through the good and the bad on both of them and some things you guys should look out for. Now, the first Jeep Grand Cherokee on this list is the Laredo X/Altitude. Obviously, this is making the list because it was the first Jeep that I had purchased for myself. I bought a 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee Altitude. As you guys may know, if you guys have been watching the channel, we do have the SRT behind me now, but we did start with the Altitude. Now, the prices have gone up slightly on these Jeep Grand Cherokees, just overall in the car market in general. Obviously, it's starting to come down. If you did see my previous video, the markets are starting to come down a little bit, and that's obviously good for us. But the Altitude does come standard equipped with the 3.6 liter V6 Pentastar engine, which is super common and across the board is known to be very reliable. I absolutely love the V6 engine that comes on these Jeeps. I think it has more than enough power. You're pushing almost 300 horsepower, and it's more than enough to really get going with that little V6. Now, obviously, if you do want more power, you can upgrade to the 5.7 liter Hemi, which is not available in the Altitude, I do not believe, unless there was some kind of change. And also, I am talking about the WK2 models rather than the new WL model or whatever that new one is, because I don't have experience with that, even though it does have similar equipped engines and similar packages. I'm not a super fan of it. I love the WK2 that's sitting here behind me. The style of it is just a lot more sporty and a lot better for me personally. So these are more dialed towards the average everyday person who's not going to be spending that much on a Jeep Grand Cherokee anyway. Now it comes standard equipped, like I said, with the 3.6 liter V6. Of course, you're going to get that up in the front, and then overall you're going to get an all-wheel drive or a 4x4 system. Now, people will argue in my comment section and say that it is 4-wheel drive and they only come with 4x4 4-wheel drive, which in a sense is true, but it is essentially just active 4-wheel drive, which is very similar to an all-wheel drive system, and that's just something to be on the lookout for. You can get true 4-wheel drive on these vehicles, even in the Altitude package. You just need to make sure that in the center console you have this little turn knob that you guys are seeing here, and if you guys do have that, then the one that you're looking at is going to have the option for true 4-wheel drive, and we'll let you do some different options within that and put it into different modes. But in these ones without that, like my previous Altitude, it did not have that, and it's very similar to an all-wheel drive system. Does great in the snow, and you still get all of the creature comforts. You get heated seats and heated steering wheel in the Altitude, which is awesome for a base model that's slightly upgraded. Now, you are missing some of the creature comforts and some of the nice little features that you get in the higher up models. Of course, your headlights are going to be halogen, which is something that's super unfortunate because the LED headlights should come standard. Now, moving on, I say that you should definitely pick up a Trailhawk. These are a little bit harder to find, I've noticed. There's not as many on the market, but if you can get your hands on a good Trailhawk with good mileage, I say do it. Now, across the board for all of these, you want to stay under that 36,000 mile mark. I just say personally, if you do want to stay within that factory warranty, it is something that, you know, it's a give or take. Obviously, you want to buy higher mileages for a lower price, then you can do that. But I will say that if you do want to stay under that warranty, it's at that 36,000 mile warranty, 3-year mark. So, you know, it's coming up on the time where it's going to start to phase out anyway with that 3 years. So it's not really a super big deal, but if you are in the market and looking to stay under that warranty, it is a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty. Now, the Trailhawk is something that is a beast of its own, and it has plenty of options and is a very popular model. Now, the reason it's such a popular model is that you can get it in a 3.6 liter or a 5.7 liter Hemi V8 engine, which is a great engine that comes in just under 400 horsepower at about 385, and it gives more than enough power for your daily driver as well as any off-road stuff that you might be doing, plus towing, which is a huge thing that you might be doing with a Trailhawk. Now, Trailhawk comes equipped with some tow hooks in the front, which is awesome. Like I said, if you guys are going for an off-road build, you always want to go and look at the Trailhawk. It's going to be a really good starting platform, even if you plan to lift it and do other stuff like that. Because if you are planning to lift one of these vehicles, do make note that some of them do have an air suspension that you cannot modify and lift. So if you are looking to do that, either lift or lower, definitely keep your eyes on the model that you're getting and the suspension setup that it has, because some of them do have an active kind of air suspension that will let it go higher and lower. So that's something that you want to watch out for if you do plan on lifting them, putting bigger tires on. If you want to do an off-road build, maybe don't get one of those models. Maybe stick to something like a Trailhawk that gives you that kind of good baseline to get started. You're going to get skid plates. You're going to get all the good stuff that comes for off-roading. It's going to be a very capable Jeep Grand Cherokee right off the factory floor. So for all you guys and girls that are into the off-roading thing and want to take your Jeep into some capable places, maybe do some camping in the back or on top in a tent, you can definitely do that. that. You also get some nice red stitching on the interior and a Trailhawk badge all throughout. So if you guys are in the market for that, then that is going to be your holy grail of off-roading Jeep Grand Cherokees. Now, I purposely set this shot up like this because the Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited X. Now, the Limited X has a very similar look to the SRT. Doesn't have as wide fenders, but it does have the upgraded bumper as well as the hood. So you get a very, very similar look to the SRT without having to dish out all the money that comes with the SRT. Now, I think if I was in my previous situation and I was shopping for an upgrade from the Altitude and I wasn't ready to jump right into an SRT and I wanted something a little bit quicker with a little bit more power and maybe pushing a V8, then I would go with the Limited X because you're going to get the upgraded hood, which looks awesome. Like I said, they do come with the 3.6 liter Pentastar and the V8 Hemi 5.7, which are the two options that you would want to go for if you're not going for a 6.4 or a 6.2 liter Hellcat engine. So the Limited X looks awesome, and you could get it in a V6 if you do just want something that looks really cool and you can just drive around as a daily driver with that V6 engine and get good gas mileage. Now, I will say that the V6 does have the opportunity to have some decent sound to it. It does have a little bit of a growl, and it's really not that bad for what it is. I know whenever I think about a V6, I personally am not a V6 sound guy. Like, I don't think a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder sounds good to me. I'm a V8 Hemi guy, so that's kind of where I stand. But I had the V6 before, did put an AFE power exhaust on it, which sounded fantastic. Combined that with a K&N intake, and it really just brought the truck to life. I say truck, it's a car, truck, whatever, SUV. Now, number 4 is, of course, my baby here, the SRT. Now, I love the SRT. I've been in love with the SRT since way before I got this one. When I first got my Altitude, this is what I really wanted, but I was only able to afford the Altitude, so I ended up getting that and building it, and that's what built through this channel. So if you want to check out any of those old videos, definitely check them out in the Jeep playlist. I'll pop it up here now. And I did so much to that vehicle that I tried to make it look like an SRT kind of. I put it on 22s, I lowered it, I did a bunch of fancy little stuff like that, had a lot of fun with it. It was an awesome car, definitely would recommend it. But this is what I was trying to get. I wanted the SRT, I wanted the growl of that 6.4 liter V8 Hemi 392 engine. Of course, I even tried to buy a Charger Scat Pack, which I had for like 3 months, and it just didn't live up to driving one of these. Now, the SRT comes just under 500 horsepower at 485 or so horsepower, which is plenty of power. If you guys are in the market for a Trackhawk, or you want a Trackhawk as your dream vehicle, know that the SRT is going to be plenty of power for a daily driver or just driving on the normal roads. You're going to get a little bit better gas mileage than you would in the Trackhawk. With this, you're going to probably pull around 12 to 15, I'd say, on the good days, and a Trackhawk, you're probably going to be an 8 to 10-ish, 12-ish area. So if you want a little bit better gas mileage, obviously no one is buying one of these Jeep Grand Cherokee SRTs for the gas mileage, but if you are somewhat concerned it's going to be a daily driver and you want that little bit extra boost, then go ahead and grab the SRT. Now, there is so many different options that come on the SRT that it's way too much to talk about in this video. Obviously, you get some nice dual exit exhaust, which is cool. Some of the other options have that as well, but you get the little dual exhaust. V8 sounds really good. The stock exhaust, personally, it just doesn't do it for me, so I do have a exhaust on this one. It's just a simple catback, and it sounds so much better. On top of that, all 4 wheels get Brembos. You get really nice 20s as a stock factory, plus some Pirelli Scorpion OEM tires, which personally I don't have a problem with. A lot of people complain about, so maybe they're not the best tires, but you do get those. Of course, you get the wider body all throughout. You get some nice fender flares, and it just kind of sticks out and it gets a really beefy, aggressive look. You get launch control, you get track mode, you get sport mode, you get pretty much everything you might want. Paddle shifters. It's super fun, and it sounds super aggressive once you really get on it. Now, another great feature of the Jeep SRT is the towing capabilities. I have the towing package on mine, and the tow hitch is hidden under this nice cover that says SRT. So you're not running into any issues of the tow hitch sticking out down there, which looks ugly to me. So I think it really keeps the sporty look while also keeping the capabilities there. Now let's close this out with number 5, the top of the line, the highest model, the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. Now, even if you are not a Jeep Grand Cherokee person, you have definitely heard or seen a Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk in your life. It comes equipped with a 6.2 liter supercharged V8 Hellcat engine. Now, this is the same engine that's in the TRX. Every single Hellcat model that there is, all sport the same 6.2 liter engine. Now, that is putting out just over 700 horsepower. Now, pushing that out of a mom-looking SUV is absolutely incredible, and the sound that comes from it is awesome. It's pretty much unmatched. Now, you may not want to buy those right now just due to the prices. The interest rates are really high, and of course, course, the prices of used vehicles are just through the roof. They're not making them anymore, so that's the same thing with all of these WK2s. They're not making any of them anymore. There's no new SRT models and there's no new Trackhawk models. So if you are in the market for one, now may be the time to grab one if you can find a good deal, because the prices are probably going to hold for a little bit. Might continue to go down a little bit more, obviously, just based on the bubble that we've been in, but they're not making any more of them, and they are pretty sought after as we are going into that electric vehicle phase of the world right now, which obviously is not going to hold on, because it's not happening, boys. It is not happening. Now, the Trackhawk comes with a lot of stuff that is very similar to the SRT. The SRT has pretty much everything that the Trackhawk has besides the engine and transmission and those kind of things, but you are going to get the same wheels that I have here on this one. You're going to get a quad exhaust tips instead of the double, which is really, really nice. And let's be honest, guys, that supercharger whine just sounds awesome. I don't think that the Trackhawk needs much more introduction or much more information, because I'm sure you guys have heard it all, but the Trackhawk is just that one. I had to put it on the list because that is the dream Grand Cherokee for a lot of people. And if you do have one of those, then that's awesome. And maybe one day I'll get one, but for now, SRT daily driver is perfect for me. So let me know what your dream Jeep is down below, if there's any on this list that I should have left off or any that I should have put on, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
I got 24 hours in a day, so I gotta say what I gotta say. I can't play around with these games, always put it in your face. Every other day, yeah, something about to change.